guys, good morning everyone. Welcome to another relentless stream. Monday the 21st of July. And this year's absolutely flying. Okay, so we are live. We're on. This morning's going to be slightly different. This morning it's going to be just a top-down analysis. See if we can see anything, and then I've got to jump off. Okay, so it'll be top-down analysis, and then jump off because I've got to leave for 9, unfortunately. But at least we'll get a top-down analysis in. See if anything sticks out. And we're not talking about football because it was only a friendly. Like, I watched Newcastle over the weekend. Played a friendly, got beat off Celtic 4-0. I mean, it's just a friendly. Okay, my clock's not there again. I don't know why it just doesn't pop up. We'll leave that. Okay, chat's in. Lovely. I've changed the thing around the tab. Okay, right, let's have a look. Let's do a top down. Like I say, because I haven't got long this morning, I've got to jump off by 9. I've got to leave for 9 o'clock. I got an appointment, you see. So let's do a full top down. What was this from the other day? This was Friday. We didn't get back down. See the importance of waiting for this pullback. Pullback, and then if we did close below here, then I would have been taking sellers, but we didn't get that. And that's what it is. We set our ambush. Price didn't come to it. Not a problem. So we don't trade. That's how it works, guys. We set up the ambushes, and then price. If price comes through, then we'll smash it. If they don't, not a problem. We just move on. Okay, let's do a full top down on gold. So we are 21st of the month. We've got 11 days left of this month. Now we had 2 doji candles on the monthly candle, on the monthly time frame. Okay. Now with gold, it doesn't really tell us much because gold can do this and still push. Okay, because it's gold and that's what it does. I'll show you an example. So we had a doji candle here, and then the next monthly pushed bullish to the upside. So when we say, okay, doji candle is a sign of reversal or price is struggling, doesn't quite necessarily mean that unless we get some price action. So for example, if we got like a bearish close, yeah, then you'd start looking and go, okay, price action, you got an evening star there, start to come down. But still, I wouldn't take that. What I would need to see is structure being formed like that, and then we've got some structure there, we've got some structure there, and then I would take either the breakout to the upside or breakout to the downside. That for me will confirm that gold is actually starting to change direction, but we haven't had that yet, so currently we're still heavily bullish. Now coming down to the weekly, we are still in this range. We're still in this range. Okay, we have not broke out of this range yet, so this is the weekly range we're in. That's the weekly range we're in. That, okay. Now we had 2 candles but still didn't break above, and then last week's candle closed bearish back into the area. So for me this week, it looks fairly straightforward. Okay, This weekly is creating a top wick. Can this weekly break the high? If we can come and break this high, fantastic. Break this high, fantastic. We could just get sell stops underneath, yeah, to come down. Because what I'm expecting for this weekly is this weekly to flip to the downside, to start driving down. And we know one weekly candle can drive through. We know one weekly can do that. But we're just not sure in regards to, is it going to happen now, or does it need to break a high first? So does it need to break this high? So ideally, what I would like to see is price break this high. If price breaks this high, we can potentially just get sell stops underneath straight away. Or you could potentially get sell stops on underneath now to come down. So we can look at that. We'll go down the lower time frames, see if we can see anything sexier. If not, we could come back for the weekly. Yeah. So if we thinking that the weekly could flip, it doesn't mean it's going to flip today though. This is the thing, it's a weekly time frame this. So you could spend Monday, Tuesday bullish, breaking the high and messing about. Wednesday, Thursday we could start flipping to the downside. Yeah. So what's the daily telling us then? So the daily range, we are still respecting that area 3358. That is the sort of daily range as well, right? We are still respecting it, even though we've closed bullish. We haven't closed out yet. We haven't closed above it yet. So currently we are still in maybe this range, which is like, I'd probably say that. It's black. I would say we are still in this range. Okay, but we're a new week. We're a new week now, and we know the daily might need to come and break a high. The weekly might need to come and break a high. So if we're thinking, okay, the weekly needs to break the high in order to drive down, what would the dailies look like? Well, I can actually see the daily closing bullish today. So let's say this daily closes bullish like this. That's Monday. Then the next daily could probably close bullish. There's Tuesday. And then Wednesday. There's the weekly flipping. Friday. Wednesday, Thursday. And could we make it all the way down to fill the range? And that would be Friday. Could we get something like that? Yes, we could. We could get something out. So that means today we're probably bullish on the daily, and potentially tomorrow as well. We'd have to see how these dailies close. Now, what would give me an indication of price reversing at what point for the weekly to come down? Well, it could be maybe a closure back below here. So if you get a daily close above tonight, and then all you're waiting for is a daily close back below 3358, that whole move then would then be a fake out. Okay, and that is a good sign that the weekly is going to start to flip, to come down to the downside, if it's going to do that, right? So for example, even if we got something like this, let's get rid of that one. Let's say this daily closed out today, and then the next daily closes straight back in. Again, you've had another fake out to the downside. I can't take buys above at all because the weekly hasn't closed out of the range and the daily hasn't closed out the range. We're technically at the top of this weekly zone and we're still respecting this area. We've not broke above it. Until we break above there, I'm not looking for buys. So it's a case of, is this daily going to flip? And if not, we're waiting for daily closures below there. Fairly straightforward really today. Or what you could do, I don't know whether I would get the sell stops on underneath the weekly unless the daily closes out. So if this daily flips now, how far is it going to flip to? I'd really like to break this. If we break this, I'd feel a lot more better. So technically, what I'm debating whether we just get a sell stop underneath the weekly. That's what I'm debating. But the only thing I don't like is I would much prefer if this daily can, because we're bullish on the previous daily. Yes, we're still respecting this support. If we could get that fake out, right? If we could get that fake out so the daily closes like that, that would be fantastic. And then the next daily then give us a fake out. That then would make us feel miles better that, yeah, we're in for sells straight down, right? But if we put the sell stop on too early, what could happen is this daily could still come down, give us a bottom wick, and then still flip back to the upside, okay? Because it's only the morning. We've still got 14 hours left of this daily. The next candle then could come down, activate us, and then close respecting. And then we're like, shit, we're still in this range. And then we start to push up. And the weekly's going to close out this week, okay? So we could get that. So I think it'll be worth probably waiting to see what this daily closes like today, and we've got potential sell stops. Potential weekly stops. So we've got potential weekly sell stops, but we need the daily to close bullish out. If I can get that daily close out tonight, then we see the next daily, and if we get a fake out on the next daily, then fantastic, I'll be in. If you're a bit more risky and you don't want to worry about your charts, and you can just get your sell stop underneath the weekly. Stops, where stops are difficult because you'd need stops as high as this. So wherever this lands, this wick lands, that's where your stops would be, really. Yeah. So that's what I'm after, guys, really. I want a daily close out, and I want a daily close back in, and I'm looking for sells all day long. I'm just seeing if there's any potential wingback sells, because you have got an area we could maybe do a swoop entry on around here. It's where we're at now. Let's have a look at the lower time frames. Ball's got no bottom wick, and there's not much of a top wick. 2 is closed. Respect on 130. You probably could have took that wing back, but yeah, there isn't a rejection area here. What days look like? These 6 hours still bullish. 4 hours still bullish. We could mess about. Interesting. It's all on how high is this daily going to go. That's the question. How high is this daily going to go? There is a rejection area here where it's at now. It's rejecting a tad, but I'm not sure that's going to be the one. I think we probably need to break the highs. I'd like to break the highs as well. If we could break the highs, and then if this daily broke the highs this morning, I would just get sell stops underneath. But I'm just a bit cautious in putting sell stops underneath at the moment until we break that high. The 6 flip. There's now 140 left to the 6. Would this 6 flip? This would be our is 4 gonna flip? That's the question. So you've not got much of a top wick on the 4. You've got no bottom wick on this 4. So is this 4 gonna flip to the downside? You then had the 3 what broke out but filled the next range. But we haven't closed. We're still bullish on the 3. We broke a low as well, so we should have liquidity to push past these highs. Yeah, so I ideally, guys, need break of the highs needed, and then we could just get sell stops underneath. Okay, so I'm going to set an alert on this. If we don't, so once we break them highs, I'll have sell stops underneath the daily, which is also the weekly, right? If we don't get activated today, back on tomorrow, we'll assess and potentially wait for that fake out back in, then we could maybe get it back on. So we'll see. So that's what I've got going on gold, guys. That's the only thing I've got going on. Lower time frames at the moment. The only thing you've got here is you're in a wing back area where you potentially could have sold for me, but yeah, if an hour closes like this, you can get a top wick, you break the highs, you could potentially get sell stops to come back down, but it's not for me, that really. If the daily, the only way I would get, let's say, so if the 6 hour, I need to see how the 6 hour closes. If we still respect this area on the 6 hour, potentially get these on straight away, even without breaking the high. Okay, but I think this 6 hour is going to close out like this. I think this 6 hour is going to close above here. If the next 6 hour closes back in like that, then we could look at selling again, but that won't be for another an hour and a half. Obviously I'm not on the chart at that point, but I will be keeping my eye on that one. So at the moment, all is if we can break this high, we're looking at sell stops underneath it, and it could actually be a weekly time frame. But I'm just not ready to get them on yet unless I break the high again. Okay, so that is top down on gold. If you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. That is your top down on gold. Have a look how NAS is getting on. Still very, very bullish. Weekly closed heavily bullish. Dailies. Yeah, it's not going on for me on NAS. Needs to calm down a bit. I'm not interested in those, guys. Let's have a look at oil. What's oil doing? So the buy stops on oil we are deleting because the weekly closed bearish. Okay. So we're deleting these buy stops. Weekly's closed bearish, so technically we are back in this range. Coming down. Okay. So we've got to see what the next weekly is going to do, ideally. If we get a top wick and we break the highs, we can potentially get sell stops on. But oil can do this a lot, really. So the next week you could easily get another close back above like that. Easily. So if we get that again, we can look at it again. But at the moment, we can't do anything, unfortunately. What else have we got? XRP is absolutely flying. Oh, that's platinum, sorry. Yeah, it is $3.50, all-time highs. Can we break them again? Okay, nice. So guys, that is all I've got for you. Yeah, it's more of a higher time frame trade. We need to see what we're doing here. You could have potentially took that wing back sell. Why can't we do a swoop entry? See, it's already done the move now. We've missed it. Yeah, we could have potentially took a wing back sell from 3369. But we've missed the move, fortunately. We have missed the move. Let me just check something. Oh. Yeah, can't do an out. Can't do Nishka Mushka, guys. Nishka Mushka. This is also an area where you can reject from and come back up for another top. Yeah, nothing going on. Right, guys, happy. We're gonna have to wait. Ideally, I want the daily to close above 3358, and then Tuesday for a fake out to the downside, and then we look to take that. Or if we break the highs, we can just get the sell stops underneath the weekly. But I can't get the sell stops on off the weekly without the weekly breaking the high. So we're close. We're nearly there. I'll be back on tomorrow for longer this time. I completely forgot about this morning. But yeah, nice top down for you, and have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.